Hello, welcome to the Scroll Ensemble Classical Music Improvisation channel. I'm Robert. In this video I want to talk you through my upcoming course, The Art of Preluding, Improvise Your Own Baroque Solo. I'll show you what the materials look like and how the course builds up, so you can get a bit of a feel for it, and hopefully by the end your fingers will be itching to learn about preluding and to apply. The course is largely based on a unique 18th century improvisation method called Art of Preluding. It was published by Jacques Hotteterre and probably the first ever method to focus on preluding. Another interesting focus is that it focuses on melodic instruments like the flute, recorder, oboe, but this course could also be useful for people who play clarinet, violin, cello, etc. If you play a keyboard instrument or like a guitar, do get in touch. It could be still useful for you, but it'll depend a little bit on where you come from and what you want from it. Another great thing about this method is that it works with very practical approaches. So even when we're talking about theoretical things like modulation, it will come in a very practical way. And you don't need to have any prior knowledge to be able to follow this course. If you want to know more about this fantastic method, you can watch my video. It's pretty extensive, and then you'll know everything there is to know about this method. So I want to tell you a little bit about the goals for this course. My main goal is to create a safe environment so everyone feels like they can experiment at their own level. So you can make mistakes and you can indicate your own limits without issues. The course is a starting point, and because the lessons are recorded for your private use, you can keep using the materials as a repository for future reference. The next goal is to get you on your way improvising Baroque solos. Preludes are the simplest form of solo improvisation, and the improvisation tools you learn about can be used in improvisation of cadenzas, capriccios, fantasias, suites, etc., etc. Because Hotteterre's method is a lot about using scales, triads and motifs, these improvisation techniques can also be used to make your regular practice much more fun. Or at least I think so. Finally, we will learn in a practical way about modulation and even a bit about the French Baroque style. Here's a little course overview. I won't really talk you through this now because I'm actually going to show you some examples of each of these ideas. But if you want to look at this more calmly, you can look at the website or just pause the video. In the first lessons, we'll focus on using skeletons. By using these as a starting point, Hotteterre shows how we can improvise an endless variety of preludes, whilst still keeping track of where we are in the scale, so this helps you not get lost. I will give you a small example of how we might approach this using the first 3 notes of Hotteterre's skeleton. In fact, also in the course you don't need to use the entire skeleton if one of the notes doesn't work on your instruments or you don't quite know it yet. So here are the first 3 notes of the skeleton without anything added. Then we could just add 1 note in between. That's our first little improvisation. We could of course ornament that a little bit. And perhaps even more. Of course, we will gradually build this up depending on your abilities. Beside practicing our own versions of the skeleton, we will also keep looking at what Hotteterre does. He gives us so many examples of how to use the skeleton, how to rhythmicize it, certain notes to focus on, etc., etc. And then we will also look at Hotteterre's description of ornaments as in use in his own music. Adding these will be an extra garnish of French style and also help you understand their usage in written music. After having used the 2 basic skeletons, we can look at more of Hotteterre's examples, and then we see that he uses the skeletons much more freely in his own preludes than in his preface. We can use these for new preludes, learn to compose and later improvise our own skeletons, and finally we can let go of this idea altogether. Although I must admit, when I improvise, I still find it very useful to remind myself what sort of skeleton I'm in and how I'm using it. Modulation is one of these things that inspire fear, awe, and misunderstanding even in professional musicians. Trust me, I was one of them. Otter's method is surprisingly simple, basically stating that when you want to go to the new key, you must simply introduce that key's leading tone. We will learn all about that in the course, and also how to add that into your melody in a way that it sounds logical. Sometimes those leading notes just stick out weirdly, right? You may have tried. Or in other words, all roads do lead to Rome, but some of them are business class and others are just prickly vines all over. Here is an advanced example of several modulations in the same prelude, which is quite exceptional. After we can improvise preludes freely and modulate, we can start focusing on particular types of preludes. For instance, the gai or the tendrement. We will look at what is typical in these preludes and what kind of figuration Otter uses. Finally, we can look at more special cases and try to make longer preludes as well. This course is open to more or less any level, but of course it helps if you can play your instrument a little bit. In any case, a C major scale, if you feel comfortable going up and down, it will be kind of the minimum requirement. The dates are in July, although there will be more courses probably, so you can also let me know about that so that in the future I will notify you when new courses come up. During this week, other times might be available as well if there's enough people wanting them, so do let me know about that as well. The cost is €200, but maybe that's too much. I'm still experimenting with all these cost things, so I'll be just very honest about that. And if you can be honest too, if you just think, well, that's way too much, you can't afford it, just let me know. There is a reduction price for students, but anyone who can't afford it, just let me know, because for me it's more important to have a few more people that I can reach to teach my passion than that I earn that much more money. So let me know. Then all there's left to do is to enroll. That's for you to do. You can go to this link, scrollensemble.com/prelude. It's also in the description if you just want to click it. There's a little form to fill in. A week before, I will let you know about the specific time slots that you will be in, and that's it. So I hope to see you in the summer, and let me know if you have any other questions in the comments or by sending me an email.